Okay. Okay, so I'm back again. So I think I mentioned in the other video that I have some sort of preliminary ideas on how all art is the same, and how if you can sort of practically figure out what are the elements that make up art, that you can, you know, basically access any sort of artistic medium and and really explore it to its fullest potential. I feel like art can sort of be broken down into two different categories. One of them being like a static artistic medium, and a continuous art, and then the other is a continuous artistic medium. And so a static artistic medium is, think like a photograph, or um, anything that's not happening over time. So a photograph, a painting, ceramics, the things that sort of don't happen over time. And then sometimes there is an element of continuity within a static medium. So think, for example, like the patina on, say, like a stainless steel sort of sculpture. You know what I'm saying? But if you can sort of understand what I'm saying by these are, you know, two different categories of art, and there is some overlap between them, but if you can understand what makes up a good continuous medium, if you can basically, let me sort of explain what the continuous mediums are. So you have, for example, like books, so things, you know, telling a story, film, music, and if you can sort of figure out what makes a good movie, you can figure out what makes a good song, you can figure out what makes a good book. Because I think foundationally, they're all sort of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So, to sort of break this down even further so that you can sort of understand what I'm saying, I believe that there, and this is kind of going back to like the you can get good at anything, there are a finite number of aspects of any piece of art that contribute to the art. So in a static medium, for example, like painting, you might have the texture of the canvas, you might have the you know, the reflectiveness of the paint, you might have shape, dimension, depth. All of these are words that you can sort of take into different static mediums. You can even take some of these into continuous mediums, like texture. And not to say that all of these mediums have strictly all the same things. Some of them might not have texture, but you could, for example, like a book might not have like a physical texture or a sonic texture that you can hear, but it might have textural elements within the story. And I feel like that's really what's important, and what it's what I'm trying to say. And so long as you can figure out what these sort of fundamental properties of whatever it is, whatever the artistic medium is that you know, sort of vibe with, you can learn another artistic medium or pick it up very quickly, or sort of understand like how to make it good. And I feel like you can, there's like some sort of abstract ideas behind, you know, making art too, because I think for example, if you know how to sort of transform a mistake into something beautiful within a film, say for example, like, you know, the camera is a more rough than you might have wanted for that shot, but you find a way in the edit to figure out how to, you know, sort of incorporate that and contribute intentionally to what you're trying to portray within that film. You can apply that same exact concept to painting. Maybe you fuck up the brush of the stroke, or the stroke of a brush, either way. if say you fuck that up, you can turn that into something more and let it contribute even more into that art piece. I feel like, and this is going to be a shorter video because I feel like this is sort of the initial sort of idea, is that all art is the same. And this sort of ties back to the principle that everything is everything. And as long as you can sort of figure out the pattern between one thing, you can figure out the pattern between the next, or you can apply that pattern to the next thing and get a really, really solid grasp on it. But I think that's basically it for this one. I know it's super short, but I don't know. I probably sound like a fucking psychopath. Whatever, bro.